What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's doing well during these hard times, as obviously we all know. Um, Thought I'd do this video as I've got a couple on my channel already talking about my vests. Um, as I've been asked, what are some of the tips or whatever, and I'm not an expert, not by any means. As far as battle vests go, as you know, what you should do, what you shouldn't, that's completely up to you as an individual. Put the bands you want on there. You know, some people ask are there rules or whatever, and yada yada. The best thing that I can tell you is, as far as rules go, there's really not. I mean, there are some things that are universal, like uh, have a center back patch, things like that. But not everyone does. A lot of people do a different style. They just have a bunch of individual patches. You can fit more on there, and that's perfectly cool. Myself, I prefer to have a back patch. Both my vests. The other one you just can't see because this one's facing front. Have a back patch. This one is a Mayhem. The other one is a Sign Dark Funeral. If you want to see that, you can go on my other videos where I do show that more in detail. I started my first vest last year, this one right here, and it's mostly done now. All the space is gone. I just put a video up a little bit a while ago talking about the second vest, which is currently in development right now. The best thing that I can tell you, as far as starting out your own battle vest, is try to do as much of it yourself, sewing and all of that stuff or whatever. Excuse me. But because I'm going to tell you, I don't sew. Everything you see on my jacket, I've taken to a shop and had that sewn on. Same with the spikes and everything else, and it's pricey. But battle jackets, just in general, I'm going to give you a warning, are pricey. They are not cheap, not by any means. The spikes are the most expensive part of the jacket. I mean, say for maybe all the patches that you end up spending the money on throughout the time. But as far as like my tips coming from my journey with both of mine, there are a couple of good companies out there that do help. They do make it a little bit easier to do. The best one I can recommend is Battle Jackets London. I did mention that in my newest video because that's where this vest is from. They sell vests exactly made for these kind of situations. The first vest, it literally, I didn't discover Battle Jackets London until way after I started my first vest, because this one I just found a black denim vest, ordered it off Amazon, and just kept going from there. I did find Battle Jackets London soon after, because that's where I started getting patches and things like that, some custom ones and really cool. The best tip that I can tell you is try to sew them on yourself, and if you can't, there are tons of alteration shops or whatever you can take them into. But like I said, it just adds up over time. It does get pricey. But the number one tip that I can definitely tell you is make sure you have enough patches first before debuting a vest or something like that, or wear your vest whenever. I mean, it's completely your choice. This is just my feeling on the matter. Make sure you have enough patches to debut on your vest, because my first one, I didn't really plan that out very well. You can probably tell that from some of the spacing on those patches right there. Guilty as charged. I only had a couple of patches. I only had a handful. It wasn't very much. So that's one of my top things. Make sure you have a lot of patches that go ahead and put on the vest itself. That's what I did the second time around. As you can see, the back part is mostly full now. There are more patches to be added. They just came late. I just got that one back recently, so I had to show it off in that video. This one has just been a collection over time throughout the years. So it's an amalgamation. Some people do a strict one genre only kind of vest. Mine is a mixture, though I will say there is a lot of favoritism towards black metal on the first vest and somewhat on my second one as well, because that's just my favorite genre. Big Norwegian black metal fan and black metal fan in general, but I also like other bands. As you can see, Butcher Babies and other ones on there, Autopsy on my first vest, Alice Cooper, Sodom, things like that. But that's definitely my first recommendation is definitely make sure you have enough patches beforehand. If you want to buy the vest first, that's awesome. Give yourself something there. As far as vest sizes, I've heard many different versions of this, and I guess it just depends on the individual. I bought my vest. Both my vests are large, and I wear a medium shirt. And I buy large mainly because I like my jackets or vests or something like that to be a little baggy, a little room. And plus, it gives you a little bit more room for patches. The second thing that I can tell you is it's not really a rule. Some people say it is. I guess I could concur that I kind of think of it as a rule as well. Because on my vest, you will not find one patch from any band that I am actually not a fan of. Every band that you see on either of these two vests, I listen to. I'm an actual fan of. So that's what I can tell you. Any patch that you put on your vest, make sure it's from a band that you actually like, because I've seen those fake battle jackets that people just slap band patches over that they don't actually listen to, or they're not actual bands at all. We've all seen that. We've all heard about that over the last couple of years. I don't see them as much anymore, but they are still out there. I've seen a few things, heard a few things over the years, that they are still there. As far as like individual little things, pins and things like that, some people, and I said in my last video, metal purists don't kill me, because I have some non-metal related things. On my vest, there's some comic influence, First, on this first vest, if you look at that video that I just put up, there's a Spawn logo and a Star Wars pin and a Wolverine pin on that one. And that's just because I like those. I thought they were cool. But I also did something similar on this one, though. This one, most of them are music pins, I will say that. This one is a Hellfire Club from the Marvel Comics, so that's not really metal. So, but I just like the logo and was a fan of that storyline in the comic series for years. But pins are also a little cool addition that you can do to them. I've seen some good ones. I've seen some bad ones. It really just depends on what the band is. There's tons of companies out there that make a lot of cool stuff. But the best thing I can tell you as far as patches goes, and there are many outlets that you can get them, is try to go as direct to the bands as you can, especially right now in the current climate, because bands can't play live, and they're, every band is struggling. Merch is the only thing they have right now. But yeah, that's my recommendation always, and especially right now, is try to go through the band's official site for patches or whatever. And some of them don't have patches because that's something that they really only carry at live shows, which is where a good portion of mine have come from. I bought them at the live shows themselves. But there are multiple other sites, like I mentioned before: Battle Jackets London, Metal Devastation. Some people on Instagram. Because I've got a few custom patches on there. Blood Like Rain does a lot of cool stuff. I got a custom one coming from him of Bathory. Because I don't know where you find an official Bathory patch. I mean, most of their stuff is distributed with licenses and everything else all over the place. But that one's that. And the spikes, if you choose to put spikes like I have, like on my new one right here, I put bigger ones than my first one. The best thing that I can tell you, and believe me, take it from me, they are the most expensive part of having anything on your vest done. Are the spikes? Is be ready to put up with them, because they are a hassle. You have to retighten them every so often, because both of my spikes on both jackets are screw-ins. There you go. Both of my jackets on both the spikes on my jackets are screw-ins. There's an extra piece of fabric sewn under the shoulders to hold them there so they stay up. I mean, I got to get the spikes on the other one that you just saw me holding there adjusted a little bit. They're not quite straight. I may have to ask for a second layer of fabric to get sewed on. They look okay, but they don't look quite what I want. But if you put spikes on your vest, be ready to deal with the problems that may come with that. Because a lot of times you will run into problems at venues. They will tell you they won't let you in wearing that, just for potential accidents that could happen as well. Those big ones that you saw there, they are sharp. I can tell you that wholeheartedly, because the tailor cut them. The tailor cut themselves when trying to put them on my vest. She cut her hand. So, be warned if you want spikes. If you want that, that's your vest. Go for it. Your vest is a representation of you. Definitely do it. But again, do it being forewarned that you have to retighten them. You have to take care of them, and all that good stuff. You just have to take care of it. Also, again, like as I mentioned, these vests are really pricey. So just be ready to spend a good bit of money. It may not be all at once. It may be all at once if you do get all the patches together first beforehand and you take it all at one time to get it sewed on. I'm not going to say how much the second vest. I'm sure the first vest is. I don't even want to try to even remember in my head how much that thing costs at this point now, a year later. But that first vest I took in. With all the patches that are on it right now, I had them all grouped together and everything else. That was a couple hundred. By the time they got the weathering, the spikes, patches, all that done, it was expensive. So again, battle vests are not cheap. Go into that firsthand. Battle jackets are not cheap. Second, not really second. I've kind of lost that number, but I'm not good at talking on camera, so cut me a break. A lot of people who with their vests tend to make them eye-catching or something like that. If you can see it on my first one there, the church burner patch is one that gets a lot of looks. That's mainly just kind of. It's something within black metal that's kind of a part of its history, or the Norwegian part of it, because that actually happened. I do it mainly just kind of a joke, just to kind of, play up the stereotype and have a laugh with people who stare at it with the looks on their faces. It is funny, But again, I do that knowing, how this could be interpreted and things like that, because trust me, I've had some interactions wearing my vest. The first one, I really haven't worn the second one yet because I just got it. Some interactions with people, are funny. I don't care. I'm going to wear it regardless. But you're going to get some interactions with people who may not agree with some things on the vest. Because some patches, I love them. Make no mistake. But they are evocative and, provoking and things like that. So just know that. One of the best things that I can tell you, as far as vests goes, the pockets, utilize them for concerts. They are the best. Always make sure if you buy a vest that it has inside pockets, deep pockets. You can keep merch in there and everything else. You don't have to go out to your car. That's what I do. The front two pockets of my vest there, you will find my earplugs. Concert essential earplugs, trust me. And the other one you'll find there is what I keep mostly, is where I keep some of the essentials, like my money and things like that. There's a little thing I have that's inside that little pocket on the right side of the vest there that holds that. Not stapled in, but it's kind of screwed in there. A little holder that holds all that, so it's not going to ever pop out of my jacket pocket. Should I mosh, crowd surf, whatever. Where was I going? Like I said, not good on this, but just thought I'd do some tips. But again, the overall thing with a battle jacket is it's a representation of you. Do what you want to do with it. You don't have to go with every certain band being in the same genre or anything like that. I certainly didn't. Granted, again, like I said, there's definitely a lot more of one band a lot more bands from a particular genre on mine than the most. But it is a collection. It's not all just one. So again, the best tips that I can give you, just kind of reiterate, be prepared. They are expensive. 2, buy your vest first if that's what you want to do, but definitely make sure you have enough patches to put on it first. If again, that was just something I look at as kind of a mistake from my own experience. I bought the vest first and didn't have quite enough patches on it yet before I first wore it. So that's just something I felt was something should be maybe done a little bit better, but again, your choice. The other thing I can tell you is, again, the third rule and the most important one. Just make sure that every band that's on your vest, you actually listen to, that you're actually a fan of. Don't just slap a patch on a vest because it looks cool or something like that. I've passed over many patches I thought would look awesome, but I did not put them on my vest because I didn't listen to them. Or, I wasn't a fan. There have definitely been some patches I looked at the band and tried them, see if I could like them, and, it wasn't always a success. Sometimes it was. But again, that's the most important thing for any battle vest. Just make sure any band patch that's on your vest, you're actually a fan of. Because if you wear these to shows, which second one hasn't been to a show, but my first one's been to many. I can't tell you how many times someone's asked me about whatever band it was on my vest, be Sodom or Magla, on either of these, and I don't know if it was necessarily getting checked, but they wanted to know about them. So again, just make sure it's actually a band that you listen to, a band that you're a fan of, because I've told many people who've asked, every band that's on who've asked, I just want to slap this on, it looks cool. I'm like, just make sure it's actually a band you listen to. Because that's really about the only rule with a battle vest that I can really say is something that a lot of metalheads agree on. Make sure it's actually bands you listen to, not just something you slap on there to look cool. So those are just my beginner's tips from making battle jackets. I'd love to hear what other tips others may have in the comments below. Thank you to everyone who watched the other videos of my vests. I didn't think they'd get a lot of attention, but they have. So thank you all for that. Again, there will be more progress videos on my second vest coming soon. Like a couple later patches arrived soon after I just got that one back, because that's been at the alterations for a while because the work took a long time. So there will be another update on that vest soon. But again, just make sure every patch you buy is a band you listen to. If you get spikes, be willing to put up with the hassle, and make sure you're willing to spend the money it's going to take to make these vests, because they do get expensive. But also, if you can sew or get a sewing machine, do it. It makes it so much easier. I tried hand sewing in the beginning, did not work out so well. That's why I trust a professional now to do mine. So that's my tips on battle jackets, a beginner's tip. I hope anyone who watches this is able to create a great vest, and I hope I see it. I love looking online and watching videos on YouTube, just like a lot of people do, about battle vests. So that's one of my favorite things about the metal culture. They're very creative. It's a piece of art, some of them. So, create. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you again soon.